Hey guys, Psychic Pictures here, with possibly the longest video I've ever made for either of my channels on YouTube. I've talked a lot about my thoughts on the Sly Cooper series in the past, and I even Let's Played the first 3 games in the series, with the first 2 games being Let's Played on both of my channels. Sly Cooper is now over 22 years old, well, as of making this script. And I think that it's kind of turned into a diamond in the rough series. People that have played any game in the Sly Cooper series knows that these games are good, but it seems to have faded away from being relevant as of 2014, a year after the 4th game released, Thieves in Time. I say this even knowing that they put Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus on the PlayStation 5 store in 2024. I wanted to make this video because Sly Cooper is my second favorite series of all time, just barely losing out to the Super Smash Bros. Series. I actually discovered this when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was first announced. Even though I would buy a new console just for a new Sly Cooper game, I don't think I would be as hyped for it as I would be with a new Super Smash Bros. Game. Sly Cooper, to me, has always been underrated, and I believe that this series deserves more fans. Fans of this series absolutely love the games, and I'm no different. The purpose of this video is for me to give my honest opinions on the entire series without needing to focus on gameplay through live commentary. I always tend to leave my thoughts out of live commentary since I'm focused not only on my thoughts about the game, but on the gameplay as well, and I usually only tell some of my thoughts on situations, rather than all of my thoughts, because I forget some things I want to say. For this video, I will be going game by game, cutscene by cutscene, world by world, and level by level, and share my thoughts on the entire series up to Sly Cooper Thieves in Time in detail. I'll also give my opinions on the chances of getting a Sly 5 at the end. I'll also be giving my thoughts on how the games hold up. I know I have a lot of nostalgia for all of the games. Heck, I dare say they were extremely important to me starting when I was 8 years old. But I'll try to keep the nostalgia to a minimum in this video. This is more of a how the series holds up, rather than my history with the series, except for my opening thoughts on Sly 1 and Sly 4. I wrote each portion of this script right after playing the level in the game that I'll talk about, so I have it fresh in my mind, and I have fresh thoughts on the level. Also, I don't think I need to say this, but there will be massive spoilers in this video about every level in the Sly Cooper series. I will be talking about my opinions on the games, cutscenes, interactions, and so on, so if you haven't played all of the games and don't want to be spoiled on them, stop the video now. You have been warned. This is also my opinions of the games. You may have different thoughts on the games, and that's fine. Leave a comment or comments down below and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear your opinions on the Sly Cooper series. Just be respectful of my opinions and other people's opinions. I will also have timestamps in the description for each portion of the game, since this video is going to be very long. I don't know how long as of writing this portion of the script. All I know is that this will be very long. Lastly, I'm giving a shout out to the YouTuber NopNapNarp. I wanted to do a video like this for a while, and I wasn't sure how exactly to make it. And then I saw NopNapNarp's slightly long critique of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, and that video inspired the format of this video. NopNapNarp, thank you so much for making this video possible and getting the ball rolling on this video. A link to their channel will be in the description or in the card above. With this long intro done, let's start with my review and honest thoughts on the Sly Cooper series, starting with Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. which is also known as Sly Raccoon on the PlayStation Store, for some reason. I was 8 years old when Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus was released. I don't entirely remember how this game entered my life, but I do remember that I watched my mom play this game and I was hooked on wanting to see more of the game and watching her play it. I would pretty much beg my mom to play more of the game just so I could watch her play it. I don't know what it was, but I was entranced by Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. The first time I played the game was actually fighting the final boss on my mom's save file. We had such a hard time with it, but I finally managed to beat it after a very long time on my own save file of the game. But enough about my nostalgia for the game. Let's start with the opening cutscene of the game. The opening cutscene I think is really good, with Sly jumping from rooftop to rooftop, smashing a rock with his cane, and sneaking across walls. These are all things that the player will be doing throughout the game. It is a solid opener that showcases the game and creates excitement to play the game. Also, unlike many other games, even modern games, the main menu actually shows Sly using idle animations and poses that are in normal gameplay. I like that the menu is part of the gameplay, since this game throws you into the gameplay right away and doesn't waste the player's time, even with load times. This is how you solidly get the audience excited about the game right from the get-go. The opening cutscene is fantastic for the first game in a new series, and the menu pops up at the end without the need of loading. It is fast-paced and I love it. When we start a new game, we are greeted by a call from our friend Bentley, who, of course, is nervous about breaking into police headquarters to steal a file from Inspector Carmelita Fox. Sly also says that they pretty much have no choice but to steal the file, no matter what. Bentley is pretty much the tutorial of the game, and he gives a lot of information to the player about the game. Not in one cutscene, but multiple cutscenes throughout the game. I also love the banter between him and Sly when they talk. Bentley is a nervous wreck, but can still crack a joke or two throughout the game. We are also introduced to Murray, the driver of the team van. Sadly, Murray has almost no role in the game except to be the driver of the van, but more on that later. As we get into the gameplay, I had trouble with the camera going the opposite direction of where I wanted it to. I thought I could change that after this level, but I couldn't. So just warning you that if you see the camera going the opposite direction of where I need to go, that's why. Anyway, we get introduced to blue auras right after the opening cutscene is done. This is really nothing more than a get close and hold the circle button move when you see them. Weirdly enough, this is not used for other circle button moves, even though it should. You obtain power-ups throughout the game, and stuff you can interact with that use the circle button don't have blue auras for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's fixed in the sequel, so I'm fine with it. We then jump to a vent, and go through it where we are introduced to the main hazard of the series, laser security. Touch it once, and the alarm goes off. Touch it twice and you die. That's also something I should bring up. Sly can't get damaged in this game, or else he dies instantly. This makes the game, in my opinion, the most difficult game in the series. The other games can be difficult at times, but at least you could take a few hits before you go down. This game isn't that generous. You can get an extra hit or two in the game, but we'll talk about that later. Back to the lasers. In order to disarm them and the alarm, you need to find the alarm that looks like a fire hydrant with bull horns on it, for some reason, and smash it. Going around the halls, we need to sneak into the inspector's office through the window and find another gimmick to this game, safe cracking. This is easy. In order to crack a safe, You just put in the combination that Bentley tells you, and boom, you open the safe. I'll explain later about how you do this in other levels. I feel like I'm saying that I'll explain later for a lot of stuff here. Once we have the file and leave through another window, we are introduced to Inspector Carmelita Fox, a cop who has been trying to arrest Sly for a while, but was never able to capture him. Sly shows that he has some feelings for her since he flirts with Carmelita a little bit before escaping to the van and getting away. I think that this opening is actually really good. Even though during the level we don't have much information on why we are breaking into the police headquarters, it still showcases a lot that we'll see throughout the game. This includes jumping across rooftops, avoiding lasers, cracking open safes, and running from Carmelita. I like this introduction to the series because it doesn't throw too much information at the player at once. I find that the opening levels of games are much more enjoyable when the player is eased into the game and not told every ability in the game from the get-go. You never know if a player is new to this series or game, and easing them into the game is much better than throwing everything at the player, resulting in information overload. Another thing I like about this opening is that it's action-packed. Not as much as the other games in the series, but the end portion of running from Carmelita is really good and makes this an interesting start to the game. After we escape from Carmelita, we are given a cutscene of what is going on and Sly's backstory. Sly comes from a long line of master thieves that put all their secrets of sneaking and stealing in an ancient book called the Thievius Raccoonus. Sly was next to inherit the book, but a group known as the Fiendish Five broke into Sly's home, killed his father, ransacked the house, and found the Thievius Raccoonus. The Fiendish Five then tore the book into 5 pieces and split up across the world. Since Sly had no one to take care of him, he was dumped at a family orphanage where he met Bentley and Murray. This point here is one of my biggest problems with this particular cutscene. Sly narrates all the cutscenes, and when he gets to Bentley and Murray, he says what their roles are in the Cooper gang. Bentley is the techno-genius and strategist supreme, and it sounds like a really good introduction to Bentley's role on the team. Murray, on the other hand, is the part-time driver, which I'm okay with if Sly only said Murray is the driver. What Sly says next is just way too mean to Murray's character, given that Sly is his friend. Sly also says Murray is a full-time burden. This, in my opinion, is way too mean for Sly to say. It makes me question his friendship with Murray. It also makes me ask a few questions. If Murray is such a burden, why is he still part of the team? Also, wouldn't you not want him to be involved in heists if that is the case? This line made me ask those questions, even when I first heard this cutscene. I know Murray and Sly are friends, but why? If Murray is called a burden by his friends, wouldn't that make Murray leave the gang to fend for himself in order to not get in their way? I'm sorry, but I think this one line is just way too harsh and puts down Murray's character before we get a chance to know him. Continuing on, Sly, Bentley, and Murray grew up together, are best friends, and vow to track down the Fiendish Five, avenge Sly's father, and steal back the Thievius Raccoonus. Sly will either become a master thief in the process, or let his family name bite the dust. Other than that one line putting down Murray, I like this cutscene. It introduces us to the main villains of the game, says why we needed to steal a file from the police, and why Sly is going after the Fiendish Five. It is perfect in saying why we were in the police headquarters to begin with. Overall, I think this opening is fantastic. Not a lot of information is given, but it gives a purpose for what Sly is doing and why he is doing it. I love that when you start a new game, the game doesn't need to load in order for the gameplay to start. It throws you in right away and has you figure out stuff naturally, like running, jumping, attacking, and moving the camera. This opening level, I think, is one of the best opening levels in all video games in general. It wastes no time throwing you into the gameplay, and I think it works to the game's advantage. I would say it is the best opening level I know of, but that would be Sly 2's opening, but we'll get to that when we get to Sly 2. One thing that I think is missing here is the backstories of Bentley and Murray. All we know about their backstories is they were orphans, they met Sly, and they all became friends. That's it. Not only do we have no idea what their backstories are in this game, but the entire series does nothing to flesh out Murray and Bentley's backstories. This is everything we know from every Sly Cooper game released to date. And I think that is a hole in the series that is never filled and asks a lot of unanswered questions. Where did they come from? Why are they orphans? How are they introduced to Sly? What made them become best friends in the first place? It is all up to the player's imagination of who Bentley and Murray were before and when they were orphans. No other game in the series answers these questions, and there are way more questions that I could ask about their past and relation to Sly, but I think I made my point. Weirdly, I think that Sly 4 gives Bentley and Murray the most backstory, but still doesn't say who they are before becoming orphans. Once the cutscene ends, we are thrown into the Cooper Gang's hideout. There isn't much to do here, but you can see the cutscenes of the game that you've seen if you talk to Bentley and select which world you want to go to. One thing I really like about the hideout is that if you go to the right of the world that you need to go to, Murray is there doing something different depending on which world you're on. If you're on the first world, he will be eating a snack, but if you press the X button, he will offer a snack to you. I like this little detail that the developers didn't need to put in, but I'm glad they did. It adds a bit of charm to Murray's character. Okay, awkward story. As of recording the intro of this video, you can probably tell that I intended to release this video as one giant video. Looking back on it a few months later though, I think that putting them into one giant video isn't the best course of action. I'm going to release each world as their own part in this review. So here I did the intro to the video and the opening level. Next will be all of World 1, then all of World 2, and so on and so forth in different videos. After all of Sly 1 is out, I'll combine them all into one giant review so you guys can watch it with no breaks if you so wish. I just don't want to work on this for years and have to explain all the time why I sound different at different portions of the review.